All right, everybody, good afternoon and welcome back to all. Continuing along, of course, our Monday. I'm a little out of breath coming right back to my computer here, heating up an early lunch rather. But without further ado, welcome on back for our afternoon meeting. Let's get a quick sound check just to begin. Make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. And also right back in time, of course, we're continuing along the Phase 3 stock course lined up this afternoon, right at 3 o'clock Eastern time, having the chance to see the man himself, Fausto Pugliese, trading the market close. Great to see all of our students right here in the chat board. Coming in way too quick for me to recite at this point, right? So let's hop right into it. We ended up seeing the Dow make a nice breakout shortly after the market opened up just about 500 across the day. So, a great day across the board. We ended up following a lot of side list stocks on the way up. So, with class in mind, what we'll do is just go right from top to bottom across the gainers and losers lists. And then from that point, for any of the others that might not be up as much, percent-wise, at least we'll check in with those before we finish up. All right, guys, so let's hop into it. The IZEA will at least start with it's on the board right now. One of our students, John, had called it out just a moment ago. He picked up 10 cents. He was in from $1.14. He posted that just before. So, John, nice catch. Great call. Nice trade. We were hoping for continuation. It took a little bit, but we ended up seeing the breakout higher and, a pretty good squeeze up to essentially 129 high of the day. This stock has been a former runner, as you can see on the daily chart. Going back into the early parts of June, we ended up seeing a nice breakout day, huge gap up, and ever since it was a nice trade up, obviously tanked. And, this is really the first day since where we've been more actively following it. So I wouldn't mind just putting this on our list going into the afternoon, just the main list for right now, IZEA. Nice level one stock. I wouldn't expect to, see a second huge move like we had seen at least from the other week when it had first broken out. Perhaps maybe if we end up seeing continuation into the close, we'll see a stronger pre-market tomorrow. Maybe it runs in the after hours, a pre-market tomorrow early. But yeah, we'll certainly keep this in mind for right now, the IZEA. All right, so without further ado, then let's go from top to bottom. LCAHW warrants, LCA, right? Same company, LCA, LCAHW. Yeah. So we were watching this early in pre-market. Thing had a big spread, lighter orders on the bid and the ask leading into the open. So you had to have expected, although for it to fill in slightly, for it to still have a bit of a spread fluctuating up and down. This thing had a hell of a pop right out of the gate, but dumped right back down. It seems like it's had a nice recovery since. I'm sure the Fausto is probably going to call this out or at least focus on it a bit going into the afternoon. I mean, it's a very tradable stock still, up 39+% off of news. We ended up seeing the bounce from a pretty much, what is that, 1280, 1274, the low of the day. So it's up just about $1.25 or so cents plus, at least ended up making a small dip at least from 1440. But yeah, this trade, the LCA we'll put on our list, at least for right now. Not the warrants, but regular LCA here, at least. All right, we got a lot of warrants. We saw that earlier here today too. This NFINW ended up making a nice squeeze here at least. It's right at the highs. NFIN. Check out this one. It's testing a 15,000 share order on the ask, 1085. There's 20,000 share order on the ask at 11. You can just see that on the TradeStation matrix. Man, I mean, neither are doing it for me right now. They're up big as far as percent goes, but I actually like the warrants over this, if anything. That one's right near the highs of the day. I guess this has some pre-market activity to where, that wasn't the high of the day, high of the pre-market. The warrants ended up making the pop shortly after the open. All right, we'll come back to these, I guess, but for right now, we'll pass. See if there's better opportunity as far as volume trend. This BHTG trade, for all of us here inside the trading room, we'll have a chance to cover something like this coming up in Traders Talk tomorrow. We knew that this would pull back shortly after the market opened up. Unfortunately, though, it ended up just dumping right back down. Ended up making a small false breakout over 4, and then from there ended up dumping off. PDSB, nice trade at least from earlier today. I don't think I'm going to put this on the afternoon, just simply for the reason that this stock has already made a big move up already once. Wouldn't expect for a second clean move like we had seen earlier. But yeah, this PDSB trade, whereas the BHTG trade, try saying that 3 times fast, the BHTG trade, whereas that ended up dumping off, this one ended up being one of the better trades, at least across the day, ended up popping pretty much right after the market opened up, ended up making the big breakout from 2. From there, ran up towards 315-ish. I want to look on the daily chart. Maybe this would be a good stock to keep on the side throughout the remainder of this week. You could see on the daily chart just across late 2018, across 2019 in full and so forth, stock's been dropping off. So, I wouldn't write this one off completely, at least for the afternoon I will, but not for the rest of the week. I'll keep this one in mind for tomorrow morning. PDSB trade. Maybe you see continuation early tomorrow. And GPAC warrants, another one, warrants. All right, GPAQ, too spotty, just not really much going on as far as the order book. I'm going to pass. IDEX, nice pop at least from earlier on today. We saw a lot of activity in the pre-market on this trade. We didn't focus on this as much leading into the market open, but of course off the breakout from resistance that we had, 180, that's when we first called it out. So we caught this, kind of early on. Ended up making, of course, a good move similar to what we just saw before in the other one, the PDSB. Again, same thing though. I wouldn't expect a second clean move going into the close, especially with the volume dump off that we had here. It ended up breaking lower. Of course, it's back up here, floating around too. But I feel like at this point, just exhaustion's just the case for this trade. Again, another one I'd keep in mind for the remainder of this week at least. So check back in on it tomorrow. Workhorse, if this was shortable, I'd say hell yes. For right now, I mean, again, another one that actually took me by surprise. We watched this, we put this on our watch list leading into the open, rightfully so. It was up big once again, but for a stock that ended up just exponentially running up on the daily chart the last week and a half, we've only had one major pullback day. You could see that was back from Thursday. So, we saw another gap up, run up in pre-market. I figured there's a chance it would pop. But we ended up noting major resistance at 12. So this is one we'll certainly look to cover in our workshop tomorrow, live inside our trading room, Traders Talk. But the WKHS trade ended up making a breakout over major resistance at 12. Just took a couple of attempts for it to make the cleaner run, but ended up making that push from 12 essentially up towards high of the day, 1541. If this was shortable, that's where I'd say this would easily be on our list. But I feel like at this point, the stock is likely to break lower going into the close. All right. UGAZ gas ETN ended up making a nice push early on. I saw a couple of us trade this at least early after the market opened. OGen, nice little pop, recent pop here from 1 o'clock. Maybe I'll come back to this. I'll just finish this up, guys. Let's just get the price going here. There we go. CLSK. So this one was kind of a dud, kind of a win. We ended up seeing this one ended up making a pop shortly after the open, so that's where we caught it. Unfortunately, though, this one ended up topping off right around 350. Pop and drop from 350, ended up just tanking afterwards. Made a small bounce, you could see, but again, at this point, I feel like this stock is just going to die off. So maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday of this week, but we're going to pass on this for right now. The CLSK. I got Shell back on the gainers list. I see the warrants. I see the other one here. I'm sure I'll find it. Bingo, nice pop. We ended up seeing this make a push earlier. One of our students, Jerry, had called it out at the time. I said, well, hey, probably due for a pullback, then hopefully for a new breakout higher going later on into the afternoon. So we got the pullback. We actually had the breakout afterwards and a new pullback since. So hopefully this can keep making the same pattern, higher lows, higher highs. But yeah, for right now, bingo, don't mind putting this on our main list for the meantime. All right, guys, if there's anything else that's up big, let me know. I want to hop over to the losers list while I have the chance to. Like I'd said, we have class continuing later on this afternoon, so we'll kind of brush through this rather quick. The ICPT trade looks like it's like really flat. We'll take a look. We'll just zoom in on the daily chart, or the 1 minute chart rather. Recent break towards 46. Maybe this could be the beginning of the wheels falling off on this trade once more. The ICPT trade. I don't know what the news was on this. I guess I do have some time. I'll check it out. On Benzinga Pro, I'll take a quick look. But the ICPT trade, you can see just a huge gap down on the daily chart or on the 1 minute chart. I don't know why I keep saying daily. News came out, of course, early on this morning. So let's see. Complete response letter to FDA approval for so and so forth drug. So it doesn't look like things looking too good for this ICPT stock. I'm going to post this right here in the chat board, right here in the live stream too. Just give me a quick moment. Let's see the news pop up in a second here. There we go. So down at 40+%, at least across the pre-market. Leading into the market open, we ended up seeing it make a small little drop, held to 46, moved back up, held to 50, and then back down. So For right now, I'll pass. I mean, the stock has range. It has still trading a lot of volume across the day and per minute. If more of like a level 4 to 5 stock, I'd say. I wish the stock had better direction or more momentum at this point going into the afternoon. Hopefully it ends up falling off. It's shortable, so we'd see continuation leading into the close. But yeah, for right now, we'll pass. Maybe tomorrow we'll come back to it. HRTX, kind of the same move, little drop off, then squeeze back up. It seems to be pulling back a bit here right now. Spread somewhat contained. Price is a lot cheaper, so that tempts me to put this on our main list at that point. All right, HRTX. Nice trend, at least. I like the move down from 1475-ish down towards here, 1418. Support on the bid at 6,300 share order. All right, bunch of stuff hard to borrow, guys. Otherwise, let's see. Markets are pushing up, so I wouldn't figure any of the side list stocks down big unless if it's news related. FSLY was breaking all-time highs on Friday. What goes up, I guess, does come back down at some point. So it was tailing off going into the early afternoon, squeezed back up. Just a little pricey. All right, let's take a quick look, guys. Let me know if there's anything else I see from the chat board here from Mark LCA. I'm going to get it to the shell trade. That's right, Jeff. Sorry about that. We got a few here. LCA. So LCA, we have on our list already, but this since is making a new push up. So nice pop here. Let's go back to Shell from Jeff S in the chat board here. Yeah, Shell ended up dumping off, it seems like. Made a push earlier on today. We were calling it out, at least heading into the mid-morning. Yeah, I'm going to pass on this for right now, Jeff. Tupperware, TUP from John, just too slow, too flat for right now. I mean, it made a nice run from earlier today. It's a tradable stock, more of a level 1, maybe level 2 trade, if that. But for right now, nothing really too much to write home about on this trade either. If there is something to write home about, it's the hope that if this can break below 450 strongly, it can make a nice drop off, good short opportunity. I feel like, this made a nice push from earlier today. So if you're hoping to see support hold, then maybe you're focused on the swing side, because I wouldn't necessarily expect this to make a second clean pop like it made from earlier on today. So if it holds support, a nice little trade perhaps, but nothing else really doing it for me on this Tupperware trade. Now, I got a ping from Benzinga. I got a chat here from Pat saying IPDN. Now, this is definitely one. I was going to get to this. Yeah, the IPDN trade got halted already once, reopened up way higher, squeezing up towards 4. So we've been following this stock from midweek. We ended up seeing them just, randomly reopen. We weren't really looking out for this trade as much, but we say randomly because this stock was halted back from November of 2019. So I don't know what happened. We ended up seeing the reopen at least a few days back last week. A nice run up at the time. It dumped back down. And at least for right now, I don't know if there's other news out. My assumption is that there is. I'll take a quick look. Let's see. IPDN entered into an agreement with Malvin Group Limited, agreement in connection with purchase of Malvin of 312,000 shares of the company's common stock. All right. There we go. And Pat just posted in the chat board for me. I appreciate that, Pat. I'll post it right here in the live stream, Facebook, YouTube. There we go. So, yeah, I mean, hey, IPDN ended up bouncing underneath 4. I would expect a pop and drop from 4 should that 4 level get tested. For right now, hopefully we see continuation, but don't be surprised if the volume dumps off just for a little bit here. Jerry picking up 40 cents. He was in from $3.40, so he was in from the halt at the time. Very nice trade, Jerry. Nice job. All right, cool. Did I miss anything in the chat board? From Grant X, good short. I'd probably say unless if it's down big or up big, yeah, it's not really doing much. SPR, I missed out on this trade. I guess I skipped over it. Yeah, man, this SPR trade's been pushing up really from start to finish at this point. Resistance, you would figure it'd be off 26. 7,000 share order on the ask. Pretty visible. I'd say expect a pop and drop from 26 here. But yeah, great call, Pat. Yeah, SPR. AMC from Dom. Let me know from YouTube, Facebook, if you guys know of anything looking good otherwise. The AMC trade, nice pop, at least for right now. Snuck up on us earlier this morning, I guess. I didn't follow this at least from earlier this morning. But yeah, nice breakout. Continued to move up to the high of the day. Ended up making a nice like 6-7 day drop off, you could see on the daily chart. So hopefully there's a lot more room to see the stock recover. So yeah, this is another one, Dom. Good call. You guys are doing my work for me. Pat saying AMC theaters now to begin reopening its U.S. theaters July 30th. I thought that there was news, maybe this was like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. I thought that there was news on that. I thought it was already planned for a certain date. I thought it was already July, but I don't know if there was any revision to that, but obviously a nice reaction thus far, so we'll keep it up. All right, guys, we got a good list at this point. 2, 4, 6, 8, right down the middle. Not too little, not too big. Perfect. All right, guys, aside from that, if there's anything else that will move with the market, hopefully we'll look to call that out heading into the afternoon. You just want to make sure that it's moving sharp enough for us to try and take advantage of it. NCLH, of course, you know, that's my bread and butter. We've been following that across the day, and, you know, that would be one I'd call out, if anything. UAL pushing up fairly nicely at this point, back over 35. I'd say those are my main two. You got the others, of course. RCL, probably go back to like Penn National Gaming here too. RCL, nice setup off 50. Penn's not really reacting too well with the market today. A little bit of a lower high, lower low situation. All right, guys, and I'll tell you, with 15 minutes to spare, talk about a lightning round edition of this meeting. All right, guys, so, you know what, I'll tell you, post and tweet the list right now. I'll post the link, at least for class, coming up for all of you guys here in the chat board. For anyone else tuning in on the live streaming here on social media, if you guys would like to learn more about what we offer here at Cyber Trading University, just make sure that you guys call the phone number down below. One of our education advisors will just pick up, provide more detail. Yep, no problem at all, Grant. Talk to you guys soon. Take care.